Hello and welcome to the Latah Valley Fiber Co podcast. My name is Tiffany. I am the owner and dyer behind Latah Valley Fiber. You can find me on Instagram at Latah Valley Fiber Co. You can check out my shop, latahvalleyfiberco.etsy.com. And if you want to message me, lvfiberco@gmail.com. Welcome back! It's 2026 and this is my first episode of the new year. This is going to be my regular every 2-week episode where I talk about finished objects, new cast-ons, old whips, and things that I want to knit, future knitting ideas. So that's what today's episode is going to be like. I am going to post another episode this weekend about all the things that I've knit in 2025. So if you want to see that and get some inspiration, come back this weekend. Also, if you're new around here, consider subscribing, liking my videos, and leaving a comment. I love engaging with people and finding out what you're working on, what you're knitting on, what you're crocheting, and even occasionally what you're sewing. So leave a comment down below and we can chit chat about it. So I have a couple finished items, couple works in progress. I have a newish cast on. So let's talk about finished objects first. It has been a whole month since I've been on here because I did Vlogmas through December. I just negated the regular episodes. So if you're interested in Vlogmas, you can go and check those out. I think there's 3 or 4 episodes of that. I did them weekly. So I do have a few things to show you. Several finished items. And the first 2 are going to be hats. Well, actually the first 3 are going to be hats. And one I've already gifted, but I'll talk about all the details. It's the same yarn and pattern as this one. So this is the first hat. This is the Myra hat by Knox Fiber Co. And I've knit this pattern a lot this year. I think this is the 5th one. I knit one for my niece, one for Hudson's teacher, one for a friend's daughter. So that's 3. This one, and then another one. So that's 5. Okay, so the details on this one and the yarn. I keep everything in my knitting journal. It's just lined paper, which is nice. I put the date I start, the date I finish, and all the details in here. I'm not very good with all of the details, but I have most of them in here. So this hat I started on December 12th, and I used Dream in Color yarn, which was the first time I've ever used that yarn. It's a single ply DK, and single ply worsted. See, that's why we take notes. It's called Sonoran Magic, and I knit the adult small. Which basically means you knit from the ribbing to the crown 6.5 inches before you start the decreasing. So on the child's hat, which I also knit out of this yarn and this pattern, it was 6 inches from the ribbing into the crown, and then starting the decreases. So this one I used needles 3.75 to do the brim, and then 4.5 to do the patterning and the crown. Yes, this was the adult small. Okay, the next one, also this, but child's version, I started on the 23rd and I finished on the 24th. And child size again. So this one the child's version I cast on 80 stitches, and on the adult small it was 96. So followed the pattern. It was really easy on that. It is snugger around the here. So if you don't like it too snug, I would maybe go up. This is the beanie also. If you wanted to knit, they have a slouchy version. I've never done the slouchy version because I like beanies. So this is a really soft merino. I was going to use this for myself, but I may gift it. I haven't worn it yet. I mean, I put it on to try it on, but I haven't worn it out and sweated in it. So, okay, third hat, I started 1224 and I finished on 1227. Same hat, same pattern and all that. The yarn is different. This is Life in the Long Grass, and it's called Ceremony. So I doubled this yarn. This was fingering weight yarn, and so doubling fingering weight gets you DK. So not quite worsted. So what I did with this is I cast on for the adult large, which is 112 stitches around. It fits like this hat. It's snug around here. Did I go up needle size? No, I didn't. Okay. So if you did I actually went down, because I didn't want it really gappy. I didn't want the fabric to be holey and gappy. So I did go down from a 3.75 to a 3 millimeter for the ribbing. And then I increased to a 4 and did the rest. And the 4 is what you would use for, 4.5 is what you would use with the worsted weight. So there was some modification to this one, but it fits like the worsted weight. And I think making those modifications definitely help. This yarn I've never used before, Life in the Long Grass. It's really pretty. I like the subtle gray with the speckling in there. It's very cute. Now I did wear this one today as I was taking my son to school, and I don't know that it's the greatest color on me, so I may gift this one also, which would be bad because I knit these hats specifically to update my hats and have a new hat, and here I am wanting to get rid of them. So anyway, so that's 3 hats in December. The next thing I cast on, those are my finished objects. Next thing I cast on is a Sophie scarf. And I'm using the leftover Life in the Long Grass fingering weight. I'm not doubling it. I'm using it as fingering weight. So this I started on the 29th of December. This pattern, everybody knows, is by Petite Knit. And the needle size I'm using is the same needle size I would use for socks because it is fingering weight and I like the fabric that it's making. So 2.25 millimeter. And I cast on what the pattern called for, even though this is smaller weight of yarn than what the pattern calls for. I'm just making a teeny tiny one. If I have to loop it once, although this is fingering weight. So I weighed this yarn before I cast on, and it was 44 ounces. So I'm going to knit 20 to 21 ounces and then start decreasing. That's my goal. That way I'll use up the majority of the yarn and the scarf will just, I think in her pattern, you only increase to a certain number of stitches and then you start decreasing. But she also uses a different weight of yarn. I'm thinking it's DK, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't followed the pattern for the weight of yarn for a very long time, because I think the pattern is fantastic, and you can use any weight you want, so long as you weigh your yarn and use half of it before you start decreasing. So there you go, Sophie scarf. Again, this is Ceremony by Life in the Long Grass. And I'm not in a hurry to finish it. I knit on it when I need something a little mindless. I am knitting on a pair of socks currently, so I could, anyway, I have a lot of different things going on. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is my Ebba sweater pullover by Sari Nordlund. And I started this a bit last year. Well, not that far back. Here we go. November 14th, I started it. It's again by Sari Nordlund, and I'm using my own yarn in Bear that's not dyed. It's DK, which the pattern does call for, and it's Cori, so 100% wool. I'm using 3.5 millimeter needles, and then I increased, can't remember, 4 millimeter maybe. I cast on for the third size. So this is the Corriedale undyed. It's really pretty. It's white-ish, but I think if you compared it to something that is actually white, this is more cream, which is okay. I'm on the fence about dyeing this once I get it done anyway, because I don't know how white is going to look on me. I don't generally wear white. I had a white jacket once and I looked like a marshmallow. So I'm hoping with this one and all the texture that I won't look like a marshmallow. Okay, so I'm here on the body. I long since split for the sleeves. I am knitting 11.5 inches, which is what the pattern calls for, and then starting the ribbing. But I have never worked with Corriedale in a garment, so I don't know how it's going to block. I should have done a swatch. I never do swatches. So my fix for that is I'm going to knit it to the 11.5, which is what the pattern says, block what I have, and see how it blooms. If it stretches this way more or stretches this way more, I don't know. So that is my goal. I'm at 9.5, almost 10 inches, so I'm almost there. Probably one pattern repeat and I'll be there. So this is coming along. I had a lot of issues, and I will put a video in here kind of showing you how I had to fix my issues. When I sewed these together, I noticed that you start with the back panel first, and then you pick up and then knit the front panel. And I noticed on the front panel, this edge was a purled edge, and on the back panel, which is the first thing I knit, this was a knit stitch stockinette. And I thought when I picked up, I was like, oh boy, what did I do wrong? So I went back through the pattern, and I followed the pattern. So I don't know what happened. So I ended up, before I picked up stitches and started knitting in the round, I went back through and dropped the stitches down, picked them back up, and purled them like they're supposed to be purled. So now at least it matches. And again, I'll be showing some videos here. That was the second major thing that I found, and I'm like, oh, I better fix that before I go on. What was the other thing? Oh, yes, I may have talked about this before. So, on the back panel, it's about 6 inches. No, it's definitely longer than 6 inches. This might be 10. I have a stitch that's running along this, the pattern here. The outside is purled. Well, when I picked up and did the front, there's no purl there. It's a knit stitch. I didn't notice that until I was getting ready to go in the round, and it's noticeable, especially as I've now knit the back, basically. So from here down to here, there's that purl stitch alongside the pattern. And from here down, I didn't do the purl stitch because that's not what the pattern called for. But I did find it interesting. I went back and looked through the pattern. I don't know what I did, but it's consistent. I did it consistently on, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these pattern sections, and I did it on all of them, on every row, very consistently. So, I don't know. I looked at the pattern. I did what the pattern said. So I am going to, when I finish this, because that's 2 major errors in one pattern, which I think is a little unusual. I'm going to really do a deep dive and step by step look over what I did and how it differed from what the pattern said to do. Now, this has a chart that you read, and I read it. So, and I double checked and made sure that I was reading what the marks and different indentations meant on the chart. So I don't know. Anyway, this is the Ebba Pullover by Sari Nordlund, and I'm almost to the point of the ribbing at the bottom. But again, I'm going to block it before I continue with the arms and add any other length that I might want to need. I normally do, see, I think this is 13 inches down because I don't like cropped, and I'm a little bulky around the middle, so I like to have, if you have a cropped, then that brings up, because it's stretching to go around. Anyway, so I do want the length, and I think 13 is generally what I do. So, anyway, that's the update and the drama on the Ebba Pullover by Sari Nordlund. Okay. So I'm continuously working on that, and I should have, my goal is to have it done here in January, so it will be done in January. So I can wear it most of the winter. Well, February, March. I can wear it for 2 months maybe. Anyway. All right, my next project I cast on New Year's Eve. It was my New Year's Eve cast on. I do it every year for the last several years. I've done it. And this one I cast on a tea, which is my very first. So let's show you that. This pattern is by Petite Knit. It's the Friday Tea. It's a striped pattern, so I am doing the striping. I cast this on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve just got away from me. I don't know what I was doing. It was very busy. I worked on a puzzle with my family. Anyway, I didn't cast this on until it was after 5. So I didn't get very far. I did the neckline. And this is a folded collar. So the yarn I'm using, really quick, is my own hand-dyed yarn. It's a single ply yarn, fingering weight single ply, and it's called Bella. That's this one. So this is the main color, which is basically the collar, the ribbing at the arms, and the ribbing at the bottom is all in this. And then my contrast color is this green. So, excuse me. These have been in my shop for a long time, and I actually don't carry this single ply yarn anymore. So I decided I was going to use this. I pulled it out of my shop, and I'm making it work. The pattern does call for 100% wool yarn fingering weight. I can't remember what they used. It's Petite knit, so I feel like it's not something local to the US. I can't recall. Maybe I'll put a note here if I look at the pattern for the yarn that it calls for. The neck construction was different for me on one level. I've done, not this one, but I've done fold over collars before. This one was different because you did the ribbing, and this was a knit 1, purl 1 ribbing, and then once you'd knit, this might have been an inch and a half or an inch, probably an inch. Then you do 3 rounds of knit slip, all the way around. 3 rounds of that. And then you do the normal round of knit, purl for another inch. And then you pick up, you fold it over, and you pick up and knit. So what is different, I've done that before, but I've not done the part where you do the 3 rounds. So it makes kind of this tubular top where it just rolls over really nicely. It's not like a sharp peak. And I think it just looks really classic. Classic shirt. T-shirt maybe. I don't know. I liked it. So, where am I at here? Oh, I recently, this round, put on the markers for the raglan, because I think you do some increasing on the raglans, and then the arm, the arm. There's something on the arm. I can't remember what it is right now because I've only made it this far. So I am, this is the front here between these 2 markers, and between these 2 markers this is the back, and then I'm to the point here where I add the contrast color, and then I do some short rows back and forth on this back section to build up the back of the neck, which allows the front of the neck to stay down and not up and, you know, choking you here like that. It allows it, I think this one also had it, so it sits down and it's not up so high. So I like that. Those are nice details. This pattern is a tee, which, like I said, I've never knit a tee before. I always thought tees were in cotton or linen. This one's 100% wool, is what the pattern called for. So I assume that this tee, the sleeve comes to about where this sleeve is. So I assume that that means you can wear it in the fall, all winter, and most of the spring. So the only time that you probably couldn't wear it is in 90-degree weather and above. So it's fingering weight, so it'll be lighter overall, and then it doesn't have sleeves. So I don't know. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this works out, and it might encourage me to do more tees in the future because they do look nice, and I've admired several different patterns. In fact, next month I would like to knit at least a couple tees that are in cotton or linen in preparation for summer. So I'll keep you posted on that. I haven't made it very far on this. I need to take the time to read the pattern for the next step of adding this and doing those short rows. And then it's just striping and knitting in the round. And then binding off the sleeves or putting the sleeves on hold and then knitting anyway. So I think that'll be fun. I'm excited for it and excited to show you how that turns out. Pink, I do wear a lot of pink. The green, not so much, but it's what I had in stash. It was that or a gray, and the pink and gray would be cute, but it wasn't contrasty enough. And the Petite knit pattern, she has it knit in a cream and black or cream and navy. It's really dark, so there's a lot of contrast, and I thought I need one that somewhat matches the pattern. Anyway, I don't know why, because the pink and gray would be cute, and I'd probably wear it more than this pink and green. I don't know. Might be okay. It's fun to step out of your normal wheelhouse, I think. So, okay, the next and last work in progress I cast on after the new year. It's another pair of socks, and these I cast on the 2nd. They're scrap yarn, sock yarn that I have around. I've got a whole bin of, half balls of yarn. Less than half a ball of yarn. So I want to use them in socks, so I'm just making a scrappy pair of socks. What pattern I'm using, it's the Broken Seed Stitch socks by Hanna, and I'll put her name here. I would butcher it completely. So I'm using my standard needle size, which is 2.25 millimeter, which is a US 1. This time I'm using DPNs because I'm using my circulars on the Sophie shawl or scarf. So this is what I have so far. These are for my husband, and I've decided in 2024 I knit my husband 25 pairs of socks for Christmas, and not all of them fit. Some of them felted, some of them went through the wash and felted and shrunk, so he needs some extras. So I'm going to do that this year. I'm not going to do as many, and I'm just going to put him in a cute little box and have him open it on Christmas. So this is the first pair. And I know what fits him now because I knit the 25 pairs. I made lots of mistakes, and I know now what fits him better. So I cast on 72 stitches, and I knit this cuff 2x2 rib for 2 inches. Then I started the pattern for 2 inches. So that's a total of 4 inches before I started the heel flap and gusset. And the heel flap recommended is 2 inches. I did 2.5. And then I did the turn and the gusset decreases here. And that fits my husband amazingly. So on this sock, I've done the decreases. I'm just doing the patterning. You do the patterning on the top. And then on the bottom of the foot, it's just stripes. Micro stripes, I think is what that is called, because you do it one round each color. Okay, so then I'm going to knit that for 8 inches before decreasing for the toe, which is 1.5 inches. So that's 10.5 shoe size, which is perfect for my husband. And yeah, so this is the first pair in a box of socks for my husband for Christmas next year, 2026. All right, I'm not going to do 25, but I'll do 10. And I like to do knitted socks as gifts for people because I feel like it's a treat. And I've knit socks. I knit a pair of socks for my dad for Christmas and gave those to him. And then have I knit a recent pair for my mom? I feel like I have. Maybe in October. I can't remember exactly. But she's had a recent-ish pair of socks. And I knit a pair of socks for my mother-in-law and gave her those for Christmas. So, socks are a great gift idea. Yeah, and this pattern is really easy to repeat. Every other round you're just knitting with the main color, and then when you get to the red, you're doing a pattern of knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl all the way across. And then you do the gray pattern, and then, or the gray main color, and then when you come back around, you purl knit. So it's a broken seed stitch. I have a pair of these myself, and I really like them. So those are for my husband next Christmas. Planning ahead. Okay, that's all I have for you this week. I hope your new year is starting off well. Mine is. Christmas is over. I'm happier. All that holiday stress is gone. So I'm feeling invigorated to knit and work on new projects. So I hope you are also in the same boat. And I will see you in 2 weeks for my regular episode and an update on all of these, plus maybe some more cast-ons, as well as do keep in mind that I'm going to post an Everything I Knit in 2025 video this weekend. So do watch for that if you're interested. And until I see you next time, happy knitting!